See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Let us make the joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make the joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make the joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Julie Matheson. I'm a licensed religious science practitioner here, and I'll be giving you your announcements today. So huge thank you to everyone joining us today in person and on our Facebook page for meditation and Sunday celebration. We are holding what we call hybrid services this summer. We have 2 Sundays where we'll be meeting virtually on Zoom, and 2 where we meet in person. And watch your CCSL e-newsletter for reminders on the Zoom link. We need your voice. We need your voice. As our beloved center begins to hold in-person services, we will need some song leaders to assist during this time. The only requirement is the willingness to sing. We have the music and lyrics, and of course, we'll be backed up by our amazing band. So if you're interested, contact our Mac Ware at wmacware@gmail.com. The Core Council wants to remind members that if they would like to join a Core Council meeting, you are welcome. You're welcome. They're held on the 3rd Sunday of each month. Just reach out to one of the core members for the link, because it's on Zoom. If you have a suggestion or feedback, we'd love to hear it. Just email them to ccslsuggestionbox@gmail.com. That's ccslsuggestionbox@gmail.com. If you would like prayer after service or anytime throughout the week, you can find our prayer practitioners on our website, columbuscsl.org, or you can submit a prayer request on our Facebook page. That is all the news for today. Let's all stand and sing our opening song. We already did that. Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for that opening song, by the way. It was One Big Family. Let's see, it is by Geraldine Floyd and Robin Hackett, and it was performed by our our song leaders, as well as our center trio. So let's give them a hand. So I want to wish you another good morning. My name is Margie Sammons, and I'm also a licensed practitioner here at Columbus Center for Spiritual Living, as well as a ministerial student. And I just want to share that to everyone here in person and folks online, virtually, viewing us, that we are an inclusive organization. We love and accept and honor you wherever you are on your spiritual path. And so please join us at any time. Let's see. We're glad to have you if you're virtual. We're glad to have you here personally. And one of the things I wanted to share was that, as many of you know, we're searching for a new minister, a new senior minister. So in order to bring that perfect fit into our community, we're embodying that consciousness. So to that end, we'll be speaking our sacred covenant prayer every Sunday as our commitment to this consciousness. So I'm going to ask you to please speak the prayer along with me. I know there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister is the revelation of God as wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God. For Dr. Ernest Holmes said, human endeavor is to get back to such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as a wise and loving expression of the One. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of wholeness. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. In addition to our sacred covenant, we also always speak our mission statement. So please read our mission statement along with me. We serve the transformation of individual lives through education, spiritual practice, and deep community, using spirit and science of mind principles as our compass. Thank you. So I really like to thank Julie Matheson, our practitioner, for her beautiful meditation this morning. And she's also going to be on the platform today. So I'd like to reintroduce Julie.
We now begin our sacred service with the ringing of the bowl. I'll also be doing a reading this morning. We have a reading from Diane Harmony, from 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life. She says, faith is a spiritual conviction that what we know has greater power than any apparent material appearance and or resistance. Thus, in faith, we can surrender into the vision of our I am and know at the deepest level of our being that it is the Father, Mother, God within us that does the work. Now, let's let the music take us within.
We love
Please join me in an affirmative prayer for our service today. As we move into that peace and calm and love that we know is at the center of every heart here, every heart everywhere. I know and trust that today's message is blessed, that there is free flow of ideas and that we're able to absorb what we came here to get and to take it out into the world and hold it in our heart in a way that's right for us. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for this time together. I'm grateful for this service. I know it is blessed. I release this, my claim, my words, into the divine law of giving and receiving. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
Wash over us. We let it be. Who is that looking back? Is it just a face that I have come to see as mine? Who can see through my eyes, seeing my reflection in the mirror shift with time? I can see it as more than I've known before.
That was a beautiful song, and I just want to give credit where credit is due. Underneath My Skin, I know you probably saw it on the slide, but Underneath My Skin, written and performed by Tony Bernardi and Carissa Holmes, our own wonderful folks. Thank you. So I'm nervous up here, so before I start my talk, I'm going to say a couple things. One is I want to give a shout out to a dear friend of mine that's a fellow student at the Holmes Institute of Spiritual Leadership, and she is graduating today, Cynthia Sequita. She is a practitioner at the Ahava Center in Kentucky, and I just want, for myself and everyone here, I'm sure, to send her love and congratulations on her graduation today. I can't be there, but in spirit I'm there. The other thing I wanted to say was, the last time I stood up here and actually gave a talk was in the end of March in 2020. We had like a little skeleton crew. I wore my little bee outfit. I'm sorry you missed it. I don't have a bee outfit to wear today, so it's just a talk. So anyway. So this month's theme has been Pulled by Vision. And today's talk title, kind of a rough one, is your commitment greater than your resistance? So that actually ended up being a great topic for me. It's funny how that works, because it absolutely fits into my life and has fit into my life for a while. So I just kind of laugh at Spirit, but it's really kind of funny how that works out. Things happen for a reason. So this month we've had an opportunity to revisit vision and revision in order to refine it. That makes it clearer for us, and then we can recommit to our vision. We will be exploring more deeply how living from Kingdom 3, or some people call it Stage 3 spiritual development, how that advances us toward a more lived experience of freedom. Now, I know I need the reminder, and so hopefully you'll bear with me as I remind everybody what the 4 stages of spiritual awakening are. So stage 1 is things happen to me. It's kind of the victim mode. Stage 2 is things happen by me, where I begin to manifest things in my life. Stage 3 is through me. And that's where we are a channel in consciousness. In Kingdom 4, or Stage 4, is as me. And this is where we embody the knowing that I am it, that there is oneness in all. So that's kind of my little review to kind of ground us. But the question posed by this talk title asks us to relook at the vision revealed earlier to us in this year, or on a personal basis, your own personal vision for your life. Are we resisting transformation? And how are we doing that? Are we willing to let go of that resistance so that we can flow through the transformation toward the vision? Last week, Reverend Amy shared a quote by Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, and I wanted to remind us of it here. He said, "We are pushed by fear until we are pulled by vision." So this week, we're going to examine that really fine line between being pushed or pulled, and we're going to work to release the resistance that we create. So we're going to be talking about surrender. I also want to share a statement. So every month, CSL, the Home Office, sends information about talks, or they'll point out, and this is what I want to share with you, is a statement from the CSL, our global vision. It says, "We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power an ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. And it's not just humanity as a whole, it's each and every one of us awakening. So just like the reading that Julie read earlier, faith is a spiritual conviction that what we know has greater power than any appearance or resistance that we have. So we can surrender into the vision of the I am and know at the deepest level of our being that it is the Mother, Father, God within us that actually does the work. Science of Mind teaches us that when we allow life's highest vision of itself to be known in our own human awareness, it opens us up to a completely new idea, a wholly new experience, to really a direct experience of the mind of the infinite, which is our mind. To the degree that we embody oneness, the degree to which we embody wholeness, the degree to which we embody that God itself is living its life in the form of us, is the degree to which we allow life's vision to be made manifest through us and as us. So that's spiritual awakening. So I often need a reminder, and sometimes I'll share my reminders with you because sometimes we need a reminder of how to get through that. Principle is never bound by precedent. So as human beings, we have a tendency to slip into what they call a probability theory once we've had clarity about our vision. So what that means is that we have the tendency of viewing the future vision that we have in the context of past events and circumstances and trying to bring lessons learned forward to assist us in unfolding our vision safely and successfully. But when we use that probability theory, when we take part in that, that's a perspective that limits us. Because what we want to do is step into a wholly new experience of possibility. We don't want to limit it with our thoughts of what happened before and what might be possibly the outcome or how it's going to happen. Our vision really is a mystical glimpse of infinite possibility urging itself into expression through and as us. It's a lot to take in, I think. The other one, which I really like, is we need to lift the anchor. Pain pushes us like winds and currents push an anchored boat in the open sea. It moves us back and forth and side to side and spins us around, but we never go forward when the anchor is set. Like a sail, vision pulls us. It invites us to move forward. It invites us into a new place, into a new adventure. Vision invites us to let go of our point of reference, as it were, to step off of the shore. It invites us to journey way outside of our comfort zone. And it demands that we take a risk. We raise our anchor, part of it too. We raise that anchor and then we surrender to our control of the vessel. It's kind of like going along for a ride. So as a center, we've set a vision for a new senior minister. This year, we revisited that vision, and long as though it may be, we are speaking our sacred covenant prayer at every service. We're putting our word into the law that always says yes. You know, we may have been pushed by fear when we started this quest, this vision for a minister, because it was way back at the end of 2019. For those of you who were there, we had community turmoil, and we had fear of the unknown. Then we breezed into 2020, the new year, and shortly after that, we were gifted with a pandemic. So that pandemic is it's unequal to anything in the last 100 years. So let's talk about fear. We had fear upon fear. Nobody was going anywhere. The whole world was impacted, quarantined, as it were. Church attendance was at an all-time low. And that's really not too encouraging when you're looking for a senior minister. But now we have, as a community and as a people of the world, moved through this pandemic with what we hope will be an end to it in the not-too-distant future. Kind of like we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are now being pulled by faith. The interesting question is, what is the infinite possibility that we as a human race will create after this pandemic? So it is true with our quest for a new minister. We as a community might benefit from understanding that bringing a new minister here is all about our consciousness. Are we fearful or are we faithful? Are we pushed or are we allowing ourselves to be pulled by faith? And that's a question for each person individually. Do we personally have more resistance than commitment? So our individual consciousness is a part of the CCSL collective consciousness. So what I believe, what we believe individually influences us all because of the oneness. Are we as individuals willing to pull the anchor that tethers us and set sail into unlimited possibilities? Are we open to that? So I'll share a little story about my personal resistance. When I was a practitioner in training, Reverend Molly would always talk about the call to ministry. She didn't really describe it and tell you what it was going to be, because it is different for each person. However, during the course of practitioner training, she never let us forget that you would know it when it came. Well, that was not true for me. Well, maybe I did, but didn't feel like it. So I remember having this thought or this feeling oftentimes about becoming a minister, but I was doing all that probability stuff in my mind. I didn't really even have a vision about being a clear vision about being a minister. It just kept kind of coming to me. So I would say at that point in my life, when it came to thinking about being a minister, I was firmly anchored down, kind of like a bobblehead. So, but I would, as a practitioner, this was after I became a practitioner, I would take these thoughts and these, whatever you call them, into prayer and contemplation. However, what emerged after that prayer and contemplation was human resistance, my own personal human resistance, because here it was like this. Am I really minister material? Because, for those of you that know me, I could cuss like a sailor if I was more. That does not strike me as really being minister material. Could I afford it? I was paying bills, as we all know how that feels, and then I was trying to save up for retirement. So, I didn't have extra cash hanging around. It's not really cheap, but, my thought was, where is that going to come from? Resistance, limitation, probability theory. Never happened before. The other thing was, it would take years to do this. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not in my 20s, 30s, or 40s. I thought further I would go with that. that I'm not a young chicken. And then the other question was, what if I started it and I didn't like it? And I had to say I dropped out of being a minister or something like that. It just did all these. There was a lot of resistance, seriously. And this was really only probably the tip of the iceberg of resistance for me. All human attempts to stay safe and secure in what I knew. You know, I was never, I worked for a corporation, a large corporation for over 35 years. And I was not one of those people, in my own description of myself, that could step off that proverbial cliff of the unknown and just soar into their vision, into a new world, into their new life. You know, I really thought about my friends, many of them here at the center, that have done that. It's just not me. There are many people here and other people that you know that have taken a path of creative choice and have succeeded. Shoot, one of the things I used to tell my kids when they were growing up is I said, whatever you do with your life, whatever you want to be when you grow up, whatever job you want, find something that you love. Because when you find something that you love doing, the universe will provide. It really will. That was much easier said than practiced when it came to that part of my life. So at one point I was really tired of the inner turmoil. Do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it. So I spent really a long amount of time in contemplation. So much so that when I was done, I felt such a calmness about me. I was sure that this was the right thing. And I just knew that the ministerial path was not for me. And I was complete. Funny how that works. I swear to you, it was like 2 weeks later, that little, what I like to call the little proverbial angel on your shoulder, it began again. And that little imp, I'll call him the little imp on the other shoulder, that kept saying, that kept sharing with me all that resistance, it was silenced again by the little angel on this shoulder. So I finally gave in. I finally decided to give it a try, knowing that I could always stop. So I had that fail-safe. So I went to chat with Reverend Molly about this, to share my experience. I remember this. It was before a talk she was giving. We were sitting back in that little room back there. And I told her that I always thought the calling would show up in a miraculous Ten Commandments type of way. You know, I would look up into the beautifully dazzling sky. The clouds would part, and there would be an old white-bearded man resting on the cloud. And then, as the clouds parted, he would point down, like that. I think this is Michelangelo on the Sistine Chapel. His finger would point down, and he would proclaim, "Margie, you have been chosen." That's my Oprah imitation. So God, Oprah, you would know. But I did share that I was telling Reverend Molly this, and she's like, if any of you know Reverend Molly, she's like got that grin on her face. And I said, that's not the case for me. Those two combative voices, the anchor and the sail, struggled within me. As most of you know, I'm a ministerial student. I say it all the time. I'm in my 3rd year. But I don't know where and I tell you right now, I don't know where the money came from. But the Spirit did provide it, along with mentors and guides. As Julie said today in her beautiful meditation, advocates for me up here. And they supported me as I moved through this change in my consciousness. So I share this example because it illustrates the point today that the talk is about. Collectively or individually, we are always at choice. We are being asked to surrender to the Spirit that is in, through, and as us. So finally, I want to share another point that's worth consideration, and it is that true transformation renders the previous version of a person, a center, a country, or a world wholly unrecognizable. So I can put it in simple terms. Moving from resistance to commitment is like a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. This is a metamorphosis, a radical transformation for that caterpillar. But they are pulled into this change, into this instinctive vision, as it were. One day, a caterpillar stops eating, hangs upside down from a twig or leaf, and molts into a shiny chrysalis. Within this protective casing, the caterpillar radically transforms its body. I like to call that, it turns into caterpillar soup, literally. And it eventually emerges as a butterfly. So for us, vision pulls us and compels us to surrender our human identity, our idea of ourselves. And we've constructed that from our human limited views. Vision pulls us even closer to God's highest expression of itself as us. Are you ready to be transformed by renewing of your mind? Are you ready to embody something completely different and unrecognizable? Is your commitment faith greater than your resistance or fear? So our call to action is in these next 3 questions. Are you willing to trust that which already made you perfect to manifest itself as an even greater expression of life as you than you can even imagine? Are you willing to move from probability, that limited construct, to possibility, the quantum consciousness of all? Are you willing to lift your anchor, to surrender control, and sail into the wonder of your greater yet to be? So I'll leave you with a couple things here. This quote is from a really old Science of Mind magazine from August of 1993. It says, "True non-resistance is the surrender of every arrogant attitude of mind to good and good alone. Those who have made this surrender have found real peace of mind, happiness, and wholeness in the only place it can be found, which is within themselves." So, if you choose to set sail this week, I offer you this 1-sentence affirmation. I commit to the highest vision for my life. So let's take this in prayer. I recognize commitment, and I recognize resistance. They are both and each God, Spirit, what I love to call Source. And we're within that energy that moves us forward in so many life-giving ways. And so I recognize this source that sources the universe as love and compassion. I recognize it as adventure, courage, love, today is that I step into that vision. I pull the anchor, I release the sail, and I go along for the ride. I choose to become caterpillar soup in the transformation, knowing that that chrysalis is God holding me and loving me. And so I let go of that, and I know that my vision will come in its form, in its good time, and for that I am thankful. So it's with a grateful heart I say thank you for the experience, thank you for the transformation, and thank you for always saying yes. And so I release this prayer into the law that always says absolutely yes. And I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is.
Life gets crazy, life gets rough. I know
performed by Tony Bernardi, Carissa Holmes, and the Center Trio. Now it's the time for the giving of our gifts. You know, I want to really thank everyone for the ways that they continue to support the center during these times. And we're honored to be able to support you spiritually. I want to give a shout out to those people that have made pledges this year as well. And this week you would have gotten your second quarter statement. We thank you for that. We really use the pledges to create our budget. And that budget allows us to be here. It allows us to have these fabulous musicians. We really do appreciate that. If you have a need to change your giving amount, to reach to Robin at the office, and we're happy to make that change. We appreciate you and your contributions. Your donations help us do this and fulfill our vision statement as well. As we remember to engage with the law of circulation, we remember that God is our source, and we are circulating spirit in the form of money by giving and receiving. Please say our affirmation with me. My gift goes forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
That's you, Mac.
In the spirit of giving, we're going to sing our Expect a Miracle song. I'm sorry, a little out of practice here.
Please join me in affirmative prayer for the offerings we received today. I'm so grateful I'm moving to that place that have already put it infinity in mind. Infinity mind is my mind now, and it is your mind, it is our mind. The infinity mind. Infinity, no limit, except for what limit I put on it. I'm so grateful for the gifts we received today. I'm grateful that there is such love for this community.
I want to thank practitioner Julie Matheson, who came into town today for the meditation, the beautiful meditation this morning, and your work on platform. Thank you very much. I want to thank Carissa Holmes, our guest musician today, our song leaders, Mac Ware, Christopher Salamoni, along with our center trio, Tony Bernardi on piano, Steve Parakis on bass, and Jimmy Casto on drums. We also want to thank Rob Kuhn, way back there on sound, and Julie Colburn, our service director, Tammy Evans, our videographer, putting us online and live streaming to Facebook, Jay Westfall on slides, and let's see, Debbie was our greeter today. There she is. Thank you. Thank you to all, because we appreciate you coming to this service, and we appreciate those folks that put it together. So, if you're joining us for the first time today, we really welcome you, and so we don't all point at new people anymore. We're going to do this a little different. So we would love to give you a welcome packet with information about us. So as you leave today, be sure to take a packet from our service coordinator, and that's Julie by the door there. She'll have some of those. Or you can contact us via Facebook message, and we'll mail one to you. Also, if you're not receiving information, contact us. We send out a newsletter, and contact us at the office or send us a private Facebook message, and we'll get those out to you. Please say our blessing with me. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is.
So as we close, let's stand up and sing We Come Together, written by Eddie Watkins Jr.